Hello and welcome to the very first episode of Shimrath Plays Cataclysm Dark Days Ahead. I've chosen this game because it seems quite cheery and is just, thematically kind of carefree and, just something to take your mind off of all the stressful events that are occurring out in the world right now. So let's get to it. No reason to waste any more time. We are going to start a brand new game. We're going to make a custom character. Yeah, we're going to make a custom character, but we're not going to do anything fancy. I have two worlds. I can adventure in California or a world called Dystopian Future is Now. We're going to select Dystopian Future is Now simply because I've already set it up with the various options the way I want it. So let's do that. We'll wait while it loads up some files. This is a roguelike game. Roguelike games are my favorite type of game. I'm not very good at them, and I've played this game just enough times to know where the important keys are in order to function. So it won't be a terribly boring. It probably will be a terribly boring video to watch, but it won't be an unbearably boring video to watch because it won't be me just fumbling through menus trying to figure out how to even play the game. I think I got the basics down at this point. So we have some choices for how to build a character. We're just going to do a free-form game. I saw some very good advice from another YouTube video about beginners playing this game that said, essentially, if you play the game right out of the box, it's going to be very difficult. You're going to get frustrated, and you're probably going to give up. So freeform means you can spend more points building your character than you would normally be allowed to do. And when we get to the skills section, the skills tab of building the character, I'll explain more. We're going to go with the basic type of character. We are an evacuee. We've survived the initial wave of panic, and we have achieved relative safety in one of many government evac shelters. There's been some great cataclysm in the world. We don't know exactly what happened, but we know it sucked. I think the game takes place 60 days after that event started, so things have stabilized maybe in a way. Anyway, we're going to be an evacuee. We're also going to be a survivor instead of one of many, many different types of characters that you could be. You could be a clown, you could be a letter carrier, you could be an electrician. They start with different skills, they start with different equipment. A survivor is just your generic person who has survived the apocalypse, the cataclysm. Let's see, stats. I think I'm just going to raise them all to 10. I'm not trying to overpower the game with super high stats, but I feel like 10, I think it only goes up to 20. So that's probably not terribly high, but if I were spending points on stats, it would cost me quite a bit of points to get them all up to 10. So that's pretty good. Traits. Here you have negative traits and positive traits that can earn points. So if you were to build a character, you could take a bunch of disadvantages to give you more points so that you could get more advantages or even better stats or more skills. I'm not going to take, I am going to take a couple of advantages. I'm going to take night vision, and I'm going to take pack mule. Night vision lets you see in the dark just a bit, and pack mule means you can just carry more stuff. This is a game about surviving in an environment where you need to collect a lot of stuff. So we don't want to, we want to make things a little easier on ourselves to start. Be less frustrating that way. Skills. Okay, here's why I took away the point restrictions and chose free-form character building. I'm not gonna take skills in being an accomplished melee combatant or good at shooting guns. What I am gonna do is take a level of skill in anything that might just be useful in getting along in the game. I'm not really looking to go around and defeat creatures in the wasteland and things like that. I'm just looking to be able to gather ingredients and craft the things that I need to survive. So I'm going to take bartering just in case we have to barter with someone. Computers, cooking, driving, electronics, fabrication, first aid, mechanics, speaking, it's like interacting with people, survival, swimming, tailoring, and I guess trapping. All right, so that I spent a lot of points to do that. If I was making a character on my own, it'd be hard pressed to have that a rank in all of those different skills. What this is going to do is give me a head start in being able to craft or repair or take things apart in the game without having to essentially practice it so that my skill gets better, or find and read books to teach me these skills. So essentially, like following the advice that I mentioned earlier, I'm going to make the game a little easier on myself so that it's enjoyable while I learn how to play, so that I don't just get frustrated and quit. Because it's a pretty fun game, and I kind of want to play it. I kind of want to learn it. So this is my character. So we're going to pick a random name. And this is a very generic character, so I have no idea what kind of person this is. So let's see if the name helps us. Sparrow Gryphon. Okay, Sparrow Gryphon is clearly the child of hippies who decided to name their child Sparrow. I like that. I like that. Okay. Let's get going. All right, here we are. There are going to be some sound effects, and also I am doing laundry in real life, and the washing machine is through just between here and another door, so there's a chance that the washer and dryer are going to make some noises today too. Hopefully it won't be too frustrating. We are in the dark currently, but we can see a short ways because we have night vision. I think if we didn't have night vision, maybe you can see the squares adjacent to you just by feeling around, but I've not played a character without night vision, so I don't know if that's true or not. It's very dark. One of the things I think I know about it being very dark is that might mean there are curtains on the windows, and that's a good thing. A lot of the evacuation shelters are in various states of repair, and if you're in a nice one, there's more stuff around, including curtains on the windows, which will be important. And if you're in a bad place, the windows will have no curtains. They'll be broken. Creatures on the outside of the shelter can see inside and see what you're doing. There's an NPC here. Normally, we'd talk to the NPCs, but I'm not really terribly interested. But I will talk to this person just to see. It looks like they're wearing a face mask of some sort. Maybe they have a gas mask on. I'm just going to talk to them to see who they are. All right, I'm speaking with Carol Blockhead Hart. And Carol says, well, I guess it's just us. I'm going to ask if there's anything I can do for them. Blockhead says, I have another job for you. Want to hear about it? Yes, tell me about the job. Okay, as the world seems to abandon the reality that we once knew, it becomes plausible that the old superstitions that were cast aside may have had some truth to them. Please go and find me a religious relic. I doubt it will be of much use, but I've got to hope in something. Well, Carol, I think you're crazy, but fine, I'll do that because, maybe you'll give me something nice in return. Blockhead says, I wish you the best of luck. May whatever God you please guide your path. Well, okay, Carol. Sounds good. I'll see you soon. Wait, can you share some equipment with me? Why should I share my equipment with you? Says Blockhead. Now, I have a couple different, because I chose ranks in talking, I have some chances. I have a 46% chance to persuade by saying, I'm your friend. That's why. I have a 100% chance of success if I say, well, I am helping you out with this whole religious item thing, and I think that's what I'll do to ensure that she'll give me something. Blockhead gives you a plastic bottle of clean water. Now you think, oh boy, a plastic bottle of clean water. That's actually very, very good, because normally you'd have to find a bucket or a container siphon water out of a toilet somewhere and then hope you have a way to boil it so that it's, clean and drink it. So water, this is a game of survival. So food, water is very important. All the basic needs as far as survival are concerned. You need a place to stay, and the shelter is a fairly secure place for us to stay. We need a weapon to defend ourselves against zombies and other types of creatures out in the wilderness and in the towns. And what we said, food, water, shelter, and stuff to help us survive. All right, I am using. Oh, okay. Apparently, there's. This is the very first time I played with sound effects. I didn't have any sound effects loaded in as I was learning the game, so I'm going to be just as surprised as you when loud things like that happen. I think what happened is I stepped off of a bench onto the floor, and so there is a small sound effect when you move around. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to sneak over to this window. We're not sneaking, we're just walking, and we're going to peek out of the window. So I'm going to examine and peek through the closed curtains. All right, so it's showing me that it's bright outside. There's a piece of a newspaper out there in the courtyard, newspaper page, and there's that. I can also shrink my mouth. I can shrink the map down and kind of get an idea of what I'm looking at. And then down here is a little mini map of the same area. I think I started to talk about this and then didn't follow up, but I am using isometric tile sets created by some nerd who probably loves to do that sort of thing. And yeah, the game doesn't always look that way. So let's real quick, let's look at options. We'll look at graphics, and let's just go to the ASCII graphics to show you what this game would look like if you didn't have any tile set at all. Oops. It would look like this. Top down, not isometric. And this is me, a little @ symbol. Right, ASCII graphics. If you're not used to this sort of thing, if you've not played old school roguelike games, it can be really super confusing. This is enough to scare anybody away from wanting to play a game like this, in and of itself. So I have always been a fan. When I first started playing roguelike games, the first thing I would do when I played Angband for the first time is try to find some graphical tiles to play. A lot of roguelike purists say that that's terrible thing to do, that ASCII graphics are the best, but whatever. Let's change it back. Back to options. All of the optional tiles and sounds that I'm using are by the creator named Chesthole. I'm using Chesthole tile set, and I'm using Chesthole sound effects and music. I have the music turned off for a couple of reasons. The music sounded really good. It sounded like pretty cool music to listen to, very thematic. But I read something that said that some of that music might be copyrighted, and that if you put a video on YouTube with that music in the background, that it could get restricted. Access to it could get restricted, or it could get not published because of that. So we're not going to have any music. Oh, so, okay, well, I accidentally changed to the wrong thing here. I changed it to Chesthole's normal graphics, not the isometric graphics. So if you prefer a top-down experience, you would go with this instead of the other. It's a lot better than letters and numbers and symbols. So one more quick delay, making for a very exciting video. But once we do this, we're going to start tearing this place apart and creating some general things that we need to survive the Cataclysm. ISO, Chesthole, here we go. And we're back to normal. We're also at just about 15 minutes, so let's call this episode 1. I'm going to try to keep these short because who knows why? Because people have short attention spans. How about that? All right, see you in episode 2.